it's time to go back to the Windy City for
Uh,
another episode of Fuuto PI.
uh, where am I? Oh
Hey,
God, I'm here again.
hey, I cushioned the seat. You never point that out.
I didn't even tell. My ass is numb.
Hey, I set up a banana trap. The monkey is dealt with, okay?
Is that why it smells like bananas in here?
Yeah? I mean, I used a picture of Donkey Kong too as bait. It's like, meet Donkey Kong, free bananas, and that worked.
I'm surprised that would work, because Donkey Kong gets very upset when you take his bananas, as I recall.
Yes,
You make them angrier.
but this wasn't Donkey Kong's banana.
Yeah, but you're marketing it like it is.
I'm not too sure how to respond to that.
I mean, I don't. I'm just saying. It seems a little strange to me that the monkey would go after it. That's all. Unless the monkey has no idea who Donkey Kong is.
Either that, or the monkey does know who Donkey Kong is and is like, I didn't know Donkey Kong was real.
Or said, fuck that guy, he took my bananas.
Hmm. Yeah. Welp, um, it seems that I was wrong, that we were not going to the arc I thought we were.
I was curious actually if this is the case, if that was the case, because I'm like I said when we were figuring out what the next arc was gonna be for K,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, I remember I was saying something along the lines of it had to start involving Bondo and the others. We had to push for that
Uh-huh.
because you need that to like end the series on. Is a like stick like that.
Or this season, really.
Yeah,
Maybe this was a little bit more of a intense arc rather than the arc they skipped over.
maybe. Well, I mean, that would probably be the best option. Also, if they could like leave it on the cliffhanger of, and I still feel like this is a legitimate possibility of, oh shit, Tokime's totally swapped sides because she has her memories back now, and she's not the person we thought she was.
Oh, maybe. But I feel that she may have her memory back and maybe her memory back working, but I just feel that they might have to go back to the previous arc at one point, maybe, and as long as it's not too heavy in dealing with finding out what Tokume's memory was, they could easily reshuffle it around. Maybe.
Maybe, maybe not. It does make more sense that there's another missing piece in here because now, from the sound of it, it sounds like there's two missing arcs now.
Yes, the 3 episode or the 3 chapter arc, which was. Oh, I forget what that one was. And the P is a Devil arc, which I thought this episode was going to start.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it makes more sense that those are missing with the lines that like Shotaro throws at Tokime about like, oh man, you're starting to look like a real assistant, and I'm sitting here like, I know we've missed one case, but like four cases is a little lacking. Well, actually, it would have been three because the first one was the one that involved her.
Uh huh.
So it would have been a little bit lacking of like you're getting the hang of this and you've only been here for like three cases. Seems a
Yeah.
little fast. Four I can kind of understand where that's coming from then.
Mm-hmm. So we're missing, like, I think it's 10 or 11 chapters at this point. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying maybe next season we'll start off, if they have a season 2, we'll start off with a single episode before getting into the 3 episode arcs again.
It might depend on like how far they get in the anime or not the anime in the manga before the second season starts?
I believe they're on Pokemon 13 at
Yeah, but do
this.
we know when season 2 of this is going to start, if it's even been confirmed yet?
No, but something has been confirmed that's not season 2 that's Fuuto PI related.
Some movie, I'm assuming?
A stage play.
That don't mean shit. Especially considering you have like an entire previous series to pull from there. We don't
Uh,
know if that means it's this or the other one.
no, this is a that's set in the Fuuto PI continuation of things. It's
Doesn't that like reference both the anime here and the prior series though?
uh I I
Aren't
would
they both technically the same considering the first guy was also a PI?
yes, it's a continuation of Kamen Rider Double, but this is the stage play that's set in the Fuuto PI continuity of
Aren't they
things.
both? Because PI follows the
Yeah,
original. So that doesn't confirm whether it's the first series or this one.
it's this one.
What confirmation do we have? Because from what you're telling me, it could be either at this point still.
No, 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 no. I think you're misunderstanding. But because they say it's a Futo PI stage play, not a Kamen Rider Double stage play.
I was just assuming they were one and the same.
They
Because, like I said, the original guy is supposed to be a private detective. No,
yes.
so to me that means it could be either or. Like unless they outright confirm that PI as in the anime, which again I'm not looking at the whatever announcement that they gave out. I could assume that's either one
So
because they're
you,
both in the same continuation of the
oh,
same
oh,
timeline. We don't know where it takes place.
I think it
For all we
takes.
know, it could be a like the prequel to this. It could be the moment when Shotaro's master dies. It could be doing those events for all we know.
Um, I'm not too sure, but I think that will probably be covered later in this series. I'm just guessing they'll have a case that somehow relates to Begins Night in Futo PI.
Again, you're spitballing at this, but what I'm saying is that that stage play could be at any point within the timeline. I'm not saying that it has to follow this in any way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
Could be a complete side story that has nothing to do with anything, so you don't miss out if you watch that.
Right? Yeah, it may be a side story of Futo PI not getting involved with where the manga is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's just like, oh, a Futo PI stage play was announced with
Like Boku movies don't mean shit.
right.
They have absolutely nothing to do with anything as far as the series is concerned.
Although, when, and this is just using the Kamen Rider stage plays, I
Like
believe
I was
the,
gonna say, this isn't near where like everything is weirdly interconnected regardless of what medium you're in. In most cases, none of them have any connection.
I believe after a Kamen Rider series ends, they have a stage play that either takes place as an epilogue or in the final arc of the series that's like supposed to be wedged in sometime around the end. Because the manga
Well,
is
it's already bucking the trend then because this hasn't ended.
right, but the manga is still going on, so I'm saying this will be a side story with Bondo and everybody else.
I'm going to go ahead and put a limb out there and say that it's not going to have anything to do with Bondo.
Uh,
Other than like maybe he's there, he chuckles a bit, and then he flies away like the evil little mastermind he is.
maybe when more news comes out, whether that's like a month, 2 months, we'll have a quick update video like, hey, this has been announced and here's all the
I,
details.
I mean, you could bring it in whenever we're doing an anime review,
Yeah, yeah.
like the usual like thing.
I wonder if the voice actors will be the stage actors in
As
this.
far as I know, that's not the case.
Hmm.
From what I've seen of stage plays, that never happens. It's always like somebody who's got, the dancing and acting in person chops
Mm-mm. Okay.
and the singing, because sometimes they're singing.
I've heard the Bleach. Yeah, there were Bleach musicals.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Outside of some costume design, I don't think they're good.
Yeah, but you were right. Tokime is very involved with this, and she is kidnapped part of the way through the arc or episode.
Fascinatingly, her broken memory is also the Joker memory, much like Shotaro's. Which
Ye-
makes me want to ask the question: what does the Joker dopant look like? Also, the second question would be like, do all dopants that are the same like style look the same?
um,
Like, would two road dopants look identical?
I would say yes, but then again, I haven't watched the series the completed the way through, but I know that some of the lesser dopants will pop up in movies when like the movie villain summons random monsters from each series. So he may summon a cockroach dopant or a beast dopant, and then here's the same costume.
Hold on, I just thought of this now. So remember like the little baby dopants that we saw that were fighting in the snow last time?
Yes,
The ones that are all bony.
the
I don't.
cannon fire masquerade.
Yeah, the cannon fodder. Yep.
Yes,
Uh, I wonder if they're being summoned by Brachio, because Brachio's all bones.
I think
Is that
we
the
tossed out
implication?
that idea last time.
We did, but I don't think we like centered in on Brachio. I think we tossed it out like a Dopant was summoning them because that's kind of the way that the subs were leading us to believe. I never pointed Brachio out, and I
I'm
don't think you did either.
I'm thinking you may have. I'm not
I
100.
remember saying something about another Dopant. I don't think I named Brachio though.
Mm,
Because I don't think the thought of like, oh, he's a bone dinosaur, so that's totally it. I think it was just he's a dinosaur and that should be a thing. Was in
mm.
my head more than like, oh, bone and bone.
Yeah, but I'm half thinking you may have said Brachio. Go back and watch the last episode to find out if he deserves more points.
I need to sit on my points forever. My
Your
point
throne
throne.
points.
Look, man, all right. Game of Thrones has a throne made of swords. I got a throne made of points, okay?
Okay, so we start the episode in the Shadow Realm, as we're calling it, with
I...
with a man running through all scared.
Oh, right. Did forget that part. You're right.
Yes. I
Old
mean,
man, by the way. He's an old fat boy.
mm-hmm. And a voice calls out to him saying that, oh, what was the exact quote? Like,
Uh,
you can't hide in this town.
you've... let me see. Let me scroll back in the timeline a minute. The exact quote is it said, "This is a stupid call, mister. You should have done as you were told."
And then he gets attacked by Brachio.
Yeah, big bone boy.
Yeah.
That boy drinks his milk. His bones
So
grew big and strong.
so I'm guessing the arc we skipped over had the revelation that Tokime had the Joker memory.
I mean, it was revealed here, but I don't know if they scooped it out of the prior one.
Oh, and you did ask what does the Joker Dopant look like.
Yeah.
It is not revealed.
So we've never seen it. Okay. I
No,
was curious.
but in the Kamen Rider Double movie, which I believe is called A to Z, The Memory of Fate, if I'm just remembering correctly, they did have a Cyclone, Luna, Metal, Trigger, and Heat dopants, and the Joker memory came to Shotaro, except he used it as a normal memory.
Normal as in
as
like
in
put it in the driver.
yeah, in the driver, and
Okay.
he became Kamen Rider Joker.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
which
single.
is an all
Was it
black double.
curious? Was it this? I was gonna say, is it the same driver?
It's actually a one slotted driver. So,
Okay. So
with only the right end on.
it's the same belt. It just doesn't have like the left side,
Yeah, yeah. Um,
or I guess the right side.
yeah, but you're looking at him face to face, and it would be the left side only.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. I was curious if it was a unique belt or not, but no, it sounds like it was more an incomplete version of the current belt.
Actually, according to the story, that was the first model.
So from what it sounds like, there's the potential for him to whip that out at some point in this series and be like, "Look, Phil can't help me, so I guess I'm on my own."
Yes, there's always the possibility Kamen Rider Joker may pop up,
Also, the title of this one is Superhuman R.
which
That's
has
just
a
in
lot
case.
of R characters.
Yep. I only just realized what the title was now, so I wasn't paying attention to who was R. I saw Rando or something like that was in there.
A little girl, well, not little, since she's, I think, 12, it said.
Yep.
Um,
Although I will say it's interesting the way that they're drawing this child because her face looks like an adult's face. Like I can literally see them just popping that head off and putting it on like a teenager's body, and it's just fine.
well, she
Like
is
there's no
12, so maybe teenager ish.
maybe I don't know. I feel like at 12 you could honestly get away with either, but I feel like there needs to be at least something a little bit different, like softer features in general, not such a jagged chin
Okay,
when you're
but
working with kids.
but Ritsuka is looking for her missing grandfather.
Yay, there's an R.
Yep, Rentaro is her grandfather.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What was her
Mo-
last name?
I did not write it down.
Was it Rendo? Or was that the guy we look for later? His name. Do we get a name? Do we get a last name? What's her last name?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
Rondo.
Rondo. Okay. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I just got to it too. Rondo. Rando, not Rando. Well, technically yes, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It is Rando. The spelling is there.
So they go to.
She gets the random memory, which means it's metronome. It could just be anything. Actually, that'd be a cool one. It can mimic other memory abilities. Rando
We
or mimic.
we may have to get back to that thought in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
Did I
when
call something good?
a little bit.
The Dopon is just a chest that sprouts arms and legs and teeth.
Uh, do you want me to give you the name of it, or do you want to wait like 3 weeks once we're doing like costume designs for all the Kamen Rider double dopants?
No, sure, shoot it to me now. I don't care.
Dummy.
I'm a little disappointed in that name. Feel like you could have done something better. That's disappointing.
Maybe?
Like Mimic would have been better. Rando would have been better. Or random, you know. Dummy doesn't feel like it's right. Like unless something happens within the context of that thing showing up, the name of it doesn't really fit, I feel.
I believe it was mimicking a different one, and then it's like, oh no, it's not this one, it's another one. So it's like dummied out?
Maybe? I don't know. I feel like you have better options than dummy.
We go into her grandfather's auto body shop or something?
It's a parts manufacturing shop, but I don't like it seems they make specialty parts in general.
Yes, and Retsuka's father got a request for a special kind of engine, was it?
It was Shotaro calls it a valve.
Mm, that's what it was. But the father was saying, like, this looks too complicated. I'm sorry, I can't make this for you. Cue the grandfather walking him, saying, like, let me see the plans.
The father didn't outright shoot it down, but he's like, "This, I can't. I don't think we can. This is way too complicated." He was letting him down gently. It wasn't just a flat, "No, fuck you, I can't do it."
Yeah, it's like, I don't think we can do this, but the grandfather is saying, sure, let me try it.
Look, man, I'm retired. I want something to do. This is a nice challenge. Let's give it a go. If I can't do it, I can't do it. Question.
Yes.
When you saw what the part looked like, what did you think? Because I had an instant like connection with this thing on what this was.
I had no idea what it looked like.
It reminded me of like a metal heart, like an actual heart, not the shape, but like the organ heart. That's
Oh.
what it looked like to me.
Oh.
And well, you're also calling it a valve. That thing's got plenty of valves in it.
Right, right.
That's immediately what shot into my brain when I saw that thing. So whatever it is, whatever it's going to be used for, it is going to be the centerpiece of whatever it is.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be used for.
The only thing I can say is that it probably has something to do with whatever the city's power source is, because the guy that was sent to get it, that's what, he's kind of in charge of.
Yeah, and Grandpa's like, hey, this better not be used for nefarious purposes.
He walked in a white suit and sunglasses. He's massive and imposing. You didn't immediately think Yakuza?
I was thinking JoJo villain.
You don't know what I was thinking?
Okay.
I was thinking Yakuza, the video game. Because the way he tears off his clothes later is exactly like something Kiryu would do. One swift pull, it's all off.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, if I had more time today, I was really tempted to make a green fucking fluffy wig and red nose to put on him. With the picture you had in there as an option for the title card. I was really tempted to make that edit.
Clowns are the true Yakuza.
I was so close. If there was more time to do that in my day, I would have.
Right.
If I had watched this like on Saturday, I would have been doing that.
But he never came back after he delivered it.
And therefore, he's been kidnapped.
Yes, so Ritsuka follows Muscle Man around and...
I just realized something. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I'm cutting you off here. Because it's Ritsuka, my brain is suddenly jumping to Grand Order. Because that's the main character's name.
Really?
Ritsuka Fujimura. That's their official name.
What's the male's?
I believe that's the male's.
Is the female?
I think it's Guriko is the name, is the first name, and then it's still Fujimura.
Huh. Interesting. And Muscle Man disappears into a dead end. So he must be a dopant.
Are you sure he's not just an alien and he got beamed up to, the UFO?
Right.
For all we know, that valve is used to help power the UFO so he can leave the Earth's atmosphere. I'm just saying, it's a possibility.
Right.
That little girl didn't look up, like Dark Souls characters need to.
Beware of the ceiling.
The ceiling slime specifically.
Oh no! So they encounter Ryu, and he says, like, hey, this might be dopant related. The police are looking into this too.
Actually, I believe he said it was the police had dropped the ball, I think he said.
Oh.
And it was just that one guy he had with him
Mm-hmm.
that had a nose for trouble and was like, something seems fishy here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it sounds like they're doing this on the side. This isn't like official police business.
Okay. And Tokime does not like this at all because she's getting really creepy vibes from this guy. Or this guy's, like, picture.
Mm-hmm. Philip calls Shotaro at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Yeah, Shotaro, your idea is right." And in the background, you have Akari or what? I always
Akane.
Akane, like mentally trying to make him work. Which I'm like, but he's doing that. He's technically working. He's working on the case. What's the problem?
Wait, it's Akiko. I'm sorry, Akiko.
Akiko. That name is just for whatever reason not sticking in my brain.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, she's trying to like mentally make him work, and he's technically working while he's on the phone.
I thought she was yelling at the memory.
I thought she was. I don't know. It looked like she was looking at Philip. I'd have to go back and check, but I thought she was like trying to mentally make Philip do work. Like, what memory was she pointing at?
The Joker memory?
I mean, that was on the desk. We had a side view, and she was like pointing her hand directly at Philip.
Philip.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm just sitting here like, poor Philip's getting shit on. Also, I do want to point out, right? I forgot about this.
Yes.
Apparently, Tokime has like a little journal that has a bunch of information in it, including who the fuck knows the secret and who doesn't.
Right? Remember, she was looking at a journal of Double's powers back in episode 3, I think?
I don't remember if it was a journal, if she was just running through her head that thing, but either way, my bigger worry is in her attempts to run away in that city, this is going to get lost. And
Yeah.
someone's going to have access to it who shouldn't.
Ooh, maybe.
That's my
Maybe.
worry. Although, granted, who the fuck cares because these idiots don't hide their secret well.
Except for some people. They're really good around.
No, they don't hide their secret. He drives a fucking Common Rider bike. He does not hide his shit. Don't give me this.
Well,
Fucking Philip drives out there in a goddamn tank.
Watcher Man, Santa Chan, Queen, and Elizabeth said they don't know the secret.
Yeah, they haven't put two and two. They haven't been directly told. Yeah, I'm the Common Rider. That doesn't mean they haven't put two and two together and just haven't said anything.
Right?
They're not good at hiding this shit, is what I'm trying to tell you.
So Shotaro is asking around, saying, hey, do you know anything about this mysterious muscly man? And Tokime is suddenly entranced by something.
Yeah, I'm curious about that because she suddenly just like loses it for a second.
I heard this tone of something, like this quiet buzzing or something
Yeah, I'm
akin to
listening
that.
to it right now. Yeah, it's not a chime. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's like a tone that kind of like wobbles. Almost
And
like, you know what it kind of reminds. It's like if you had like a triangle, right? The instrument a triangle, and it was wobbling between one tone and another tone. Like it's weird. But it doesn't last long.
no.
But she kind of like walks away in a daze then after that, which makes me wonder even more what the fuck is Bondo doing? Because we do get to see him hiding behind like a fucking tree or something as Tokime goes down that alley.
But didn't that also happen during the Meganiora arc?
I don't remember if that tone was there.
But she did wander away.
She started to wander away, yes, but I don't know if that tone was there. So I don't know if it's the same trigger or not.
And she wanders down an alley and finds a mysterious card.
Is it a bus pass? How big is the thing anyway? Hold on. No, it's pretty big. It's about the size of a palm of her hand. It's
Yeah,
not a
and
small thing.
when she touches it, a portal opens up, and she gets dragged into the Shadow Fuuto.
Shadow Realm.
Yes, and she says, I'm back in Shadow Fuuto, as if she's been there before.
I mean, at least as far as we know, that seems to be the case. Kind of assumed.
Because my thought is she was part of Bondo's gang.
I'm still saying she's a relation of Bondo. I don't know what relation, they just look too similar to me.
I mean, your sister could be a high ranking officer in your group.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that I'm looking for a closer connection than you are.
Mm, okay.
There's a point where fucking Brachio goes back to like his human form, and I'm half expecting to be like, oh, Naesong's back. I don't know, like I'm really half expecting that.
Mm, yeah, but she gets attacked by a dough pond and gets saved by Brachio, who eats it.
Here's the question: does he?
He bites it in half.
Yeah, but that's not his real mouth.
I'm not sure
He's
then.
got like a mouth on his chest or whatever, and the Brachiosaurus neck is kind of just up above that. Also, he has a third eyeball on his stomach from the look of it.
I didn't notice that, but that's
I didn't
weird.
notice that before until this episode.
Oh, I might have to go back and look.
It's like a weird yellow eye. And then the other eyes, like that are with the mouth, are like glowing white. You know, in like the black mass where the chest cavity of the brachiosaur would be.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not.
So I don't think he actually eats it so much as he uses the skeleton to chomp it in half.
Mm-hmm. And I think that may be Beast, the Beastopont.
Oh, the blue one that shows up
Yes,
first?
I.
I was curious. Because there's also one that looks like a triceratops there that's more pink. Like they show up and then Beast or whatever the blue one is ends up going after Tokime immediately after that.
I'm not 100% sure, but as I was looking at a Dopont collection a while ago, I think there may be a Triceratops Dopont.
I mean, yeah, I mean this is what he looks like. Give me a second here. I'll just share screen quick. Yeah, this thing.
Yeah, that may be Tricera.
But yeah, that's there for like half a second. Yeah, as like Tokime's having this slow, well, I shouldn't even say slow, like this realization of like, fuck me, I'm starting to remember shit about this place. Nothing specific about her past so much as like what the place is like.
Yeah.
Which is, it's literally looking like survival of the fittest. They literally kill until there's only like one left.
Or until the strongest left.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe not one, but a few.
I mean, here's the question, right? Are these already high dopes, or are they in the process of getting there?
Maybe in the process, I would say.
Because, I mean, Bondo was definitely looking for people that had the potential. Are these ones that have it and just haven't made it yet? Because what we've seen, it comes up a little bit later, but what we've seen is that at least, you know, for our Yakuza man here, he's able to not lose his fucking mind completely when he's doped out.
Right.
Like he's like out of the dopant form and he's still got his sanity. Like he doesn't seem to be having withdrawals or anything. He seems very much in control.
So maybe he's in the process of becoming a high dope, and then he will gain a driver soon, so the process will be complete?
Maybe because what we learned from what's her face, Kay, the last one, the old lady.
Mm-hmm.
We learned that like high dopes tend to have like,
Extra powers.
yeah, extra powers outside of their dopant form. And this guy hasn't seemed to have any of those yet, or at least hasn't shown it.
Right.
So yeah, we don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, he's apparently close to getting his own driver.
Uh-huh. So Tokime finds out that, or remembers that the two cities are overlaid, so she goes
They learned that
back.
in the first arc. Just pointing that out. This isn't a memory thing for her. This
Okay,
part
so
anyway.
she runs back to where the billiards slash detective office is, and she contacts Shotaro, who
Yeah,
can
apparently she can just do, like you can shout and they can just hear you.
somehow.
I don't remember if that was a thing in the first arc. It's been a minute since then.
Yeah, it's been about 9 weeks.
Yeah, right.
So Keiko's like, oh, he's worried so much he's hearing her voice. How sweet. But nope, he actually hears her. And she manages to teleport back into the hideout.
Here was my other question, right? I
Yes.
forgot about this. When she first went through, it seemed like she didn't have the pass or whatever she picked up to get there. Like it wasn't in her hand anymore.
I'm guessing when you touch it, maybe that causes like the portal to open.
What I'm not understanding is then how did she get the portal into the office space open?
Oh,
Because I'm
good
assuming it's the passes that lets you open and close them at will.
good point.
So if she was able to use the pass the first time and it looks like she doesn't have it once she's through the first time, how the heck does she open up the portal the second time?
I'm going to assume something happened and she took it with, but I can't be sure.
The only other thing I can think of is animation error in that it should have been there and it wasn't put in.
Let's call it an animation error.
Someone fucked up and forgot a piece that should have been there.
Yeah. As she's warning Shotaro, a portal opens up and she gets captured by
You
Brachio.
forgot she drops out of there and she's like, "Oh hi guys." She's like, "Oh hi Mark."
Oh, hi Shotaro.
"Oh hi Shotaro." What exactly did she tell them again? What was the exact line? Yeah, she does have the pass when she falls back through, but prior to her falling through the first portal, I don't remember her having it. But she definitely has it gripped in her hand here when she came through into the office. Also, Philip seems to recognize it because he says that's and he gets cut off.
Oh.
Right, she talks about the grandfather being in there, or potentially being in there. Which is interesting. How would she have any idea? Like, I would assume that, like, she's put two and two together. That's the only thing that makes sense. That she's making that assumption.
Well, she is a detective's assistant.
Uh-huh. She remembers a little bit at the facility. You have to hurry. There's so many of them, and that's about it. Before Brachio shows up. And he just gently picks her up by the back of her shirt with a tooth. Just
Yeah?
so gently.
So the guys are there and are like, oh no, Tokime, we need to go after her before this portal closes. So then they double henshin into Cyclone Joker and base form Axel and jump through the portal.
Yep. Leaving Philip's body behind, where it's actually in a safe place this time.
For once,
For once, it's in a safe place.
it's not covered by snow or in a tank right next to the fight.
Yep. Not just laying there on the battlefield with two regular people just looking at it.
Yeah.
Arguably, it's in a safe place, considering they can just portal in there, apparently. Arguably a safer place.
And then Muscle Man shows up.
Man, that was convenient. Muscle Boy's here. And massive ass Brachio's just nowhere to be seen.
Right.
Convenient. They do recognize that this is where they were with Road, and apparently they point out a massive tower which they think is the heart of the city.
I'm guessing, if anything, that would be where Fuuto Tower is in actual Fuuto.
Well, the thing is, like, it's askew, though, if you recall. So it's not exactly where Fuuto Tower would be. Wherever that thing's located is going to be off a little bit.
So that is the Fuuto Tower equivalent of Shadow Fuuto, maybe.
Yeah, that I can see. Although it's such a weird design. I'm curious if it has a reason to be such a strange design.
And I do know a little bit about Fuuto Tower. Since Fuuto is the Windy City, I know
It's Chicago? Does it have deep dish pizza?
I think it may be a cross between the Eiffel Tower with like little windmills on top of it. I think.
Maybe? But I mean, the design I'm looking at least in Shadow Fudo, doesn't look quite like
Yeah.
that would work.
Yeah. And
Like, it looks like it has a helipad randomly jutting out one side,
yeah, I don't know what that is.
and then another tower leading out the other.
We find out that Muscle Man's name is Mamoru Nikaido.
Well, that's not an R.
And He has the reactor memory.
Yep. This was an interesting design. Yeah, that's where we actually get to see what the thing looked like. He pulls a beautiful Yakuza tear off my clothing in one single swoop. And we get his name. He's apparently the next in line to become what? What did he call it? An executive, right?
Yes. Which I'm guessing Scream and Brachio are since they have the belt.
Yes, that would be the assumption. So as of now, there's only 3, maybe 4 if Tokime is involved and for some reason doesn't have her own driver yet or lost
Right.
it. And he really likes pulling on his suspender straps and snapping them back in place. I don't know why. I don't know if that's a trope or not.
Yeah, I'm just like, boy, he likes snapping his suspenders.
Mm-hmm. And then he jams his memory straight into the middle of his chest.
You said you liked the reactor pond.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, at first, I don't think they announce what the driver's name is, and my first thought is this is an engine of some kind, and I'm not wrong.
The memory's name.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think they announced it right away. Not until after the henshin he had,
Right.
because I think Philip says it's reactor or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I'm not sure, I'll have to go back, but most memories, if not all of them, have the name on the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So add
Not
to
that
it.
we could see it in his hand.
Oh, okay. So he may have been covering it up.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
I find it interesting because, like, the one arm looks like it is just like pure muscle. Like there's no skin on the muscle, and it's got a little bit of like metal armor strapped around parts. And then the other thing just looks like it's a massive fucking like missile launcher on his arm. Like a Mega Man Buster cannon on there, almost.
And his head is like, Philip said it was a nuclear reactor.
So the other thing I liked about this is that like when we watched Spirited Away? No, not Spirited Away. Howl's Moving Castle.
Yes.
It reminds me of like a little more badass version of the Fire.
Calcifer.
Yes, it reminds me a little more of like a badass looking Calcifer.
Okay. So I'm going to maybe say 20% points because there are steam engines.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you partial points in guessing what he was.
I mean, we couldn't really tell too much because all we really ever saw of this was just from like the visual in the title sequence.
Yeah.
And it does, even like when he first, henshins and he's got all the steam around him, it's still kind of reminiscent of a steam engine.
Mm-hmm. Another reason why they may have.
Although, sorry, hold on.
Yeah.
I do have one other thing. Because if this guy is a nuclear reactor, right? Or if that's the idea behind the design, where's his coolant? That's going to be what's going to be his weakness, taking away his coolant.
Okay.
Because that happens, this thing goes like straight up into overload. It's got to burn out real quick.
And
which is, I'm going to assume that's what the steam part is for. It's for cooling down the actual reactor.
Maybe because he was featured in the intro, and maybe in Arc 4, he doesn't have as big of a role. Maybe he like pops up for like one scene in the background, and this arc is his quote unquote main first appearance. They were like, oh, we have to get this guy in the first season. Let's switch the arcs around.
That could be. I think it's more to leave off on a hard either cliffhanger or a really cool note. Right?
Okay.
Kind of the same way they flipped around Boku season 5.
Yeah. Whether or not this will be a bad thing, we'll just have to see how this arc ends.
Yeah, I assume at least for the way that this thing has been set up so far, they could probably get away with just some flashbacks if they absolutely have to.
Okay. He is overseeing the city's power needs, and he will protect them.
Also, he's hot enough to melt some of the armor on the Kamen Riders.
I was just about to say that, which is extremely dangerous. So
it's a nuclear reactor, so you know.
Yep, so Double goes into heat metal, and that is barely keeping up with Reactor.
Well, they both, him and Excel both pull maximum drives at the same time, and it's not enough.
No. So he is pretty strong.
Man, if only we would have gone with like the super mega ultra form from the last one. We would
You
know immediately how to defeat him.
you know they can't now because Philip's body is back in the real world.
You
So
know what?
they
I forgot about that caveat. You got a point.
and and they don't have the extreme memory because how
Well,
can the
wait,
extreme
do
memory get into the other world?
you know, under most circumstances, I would say, why don't they just have it on them in general? But in this case, it was like an emergency jump through the portal situation.
Right?
So I can't argue that one. I can, however, argue the Philip one because Philip just like his body just turns into like a fucking energy bolt or whatever.
Right?
And who knows what properties that has.
Right? But I'm just saying, since
But the drive is definitely a problem. Same
al-
with Fang. He doesn't have Fang either.
although Ryu does have his trial memory,
Does
so
he have? Well, it's a mode. I think. I don't think it's a separate memory. Is it?
it is. It is.
It is a separate memory. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I was thinking it was a mode. Okay.
And I'm not too sure how it works, but Excel does have a third form that was created, I think, 3 years after the series ended. So he does have another form that I believe he only used once at the end of a movie focused on him. So he does have another possibility to pull out another form, but I don't know if that was featured in the series proper or not. I know it's shown in the intro when they show XL, Trial, and the yellow form, which is his third form, but will that be shown in episode 11 to 12? I'm not sure. So he has a way of going super, while Philip and Shotaro don't.
Here's the question:
Okay.
how do they fight this guy? Because I have a theory, and I'd
Okay.
like to hear what you have
Um,
first.
I will say at the moment they really can't. I'm going to say, since this guy is a borderline executive, he will not be defeated at the end of this arc and stick around, and maybe somewhere in season 2 he will get an executive position and become a more powerful threat.
Okay, then how do we get out of this current situation? Is kind of what I'm thinking.
I'm just guessing they'll run away. Either that or they'll fight to a standstill, make him have some sort of slight meltdown, either by pushing him too hard or him pushing himself too hard, and he'll, to prevent himself from having a nuclear meltdown, which may or may not kill him, he'll be forced to retreat. No, I'm guessing it's going to be more on his side to retreat than the rider's side.
So, all right. So before I get into my thing, I had one other question.
Yes.
Um, so heat and metal are obvious enough. Do Luna and Trigger have any kind of elemental abilities or no?
Um, Luna is stretchy, if you remember, and like
I
limb.
remember that, but I like all we really saw was noodle arms, and that was it.
I know it can affect the trigger memory by making the bullets arcing a little bit like shit, was it the Emperor from JoJo who could like control the path of his bullets?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. With Luna Metal, it can turn the metal shaft into more of a whip. So it can affect the properties of of his weapons and or limbs.
Dude, what about trigger? Is it just the gun, or does it have something else going on?
I believe it can turn bullets homing,
That's it?
to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, because I was curious if they had any kind of water situation going on. But no,
No.
all they really have is like essentially fire and like metal as an element essentially.
Fire, water, and
Where
illusion?
where's the water?
There's not. There's, oh, I'm sorry, there's fire, wind for
There you
cyclone.
go. Yeah, okay, there you
I'm
go.
sorry, I may have said water, but I meant wind.
Ooh, that would be interesting actually. If they used like Cyclone's wind abilities to like overheat him, because if you give too much oxygen to a fire, it gets super hot.
Shit. Now, hold on a minute. I forget what side. No, it was Cyclone Axel. So,
Actually, that's a good point. Question: can Double use other people's memories? Like, could he borrow Excel's memories?
uh, that is what, and this is a spoiler here, that is Philip's mother. That was her intention because she was not. I think Ruby did something to her, and she's like, okay, screw you. I don't want to be part of your third impact plan. I'm going to create common riders to fight you. It was her plan for Cyclone Axel to be a thing, to as like the perfect double, but Philip was saying, no, Shoto's my partner. I won't go along with you.
That doesn't really answer the question though, of like, can you borrow someone's memory?
I will say hypothetically, yes, but it may not work in your driver. It may work in your weapons, but not in your belt.
That's a weird thing to not be able to use though. I get the idea of like memories kind of resonating with certain
Uh
people.
huh.
I could understand more if it's like you can use it, but it'll be at a much reduced effect or something. That I could see.
Well, hypothetically, yes. And I know going to the toy, they have body memories and soul memories. Body is Shoto's, soul is Philip. And I am thinking that I'm trying to, I know Excel was a body memory, but when he used engine, I'm forgetting whether or not engine is body or soul.
Hmm.
And I know that with the prism bicker from last episode, the prism memory, I forget if that is a body or soul memory. So hypothetically, they could go engine prism, but I don't know if that would even be possible due to like the whole memory resonating with certain people.
Hmm. I mean, the other thing would still be like, why don't we just get some normal memories and clean them up, right? Like you have Philip Sky a library to kind of like give him all the information he could ever ask for. I know I've mentioned it before, but I still don't see why there isn't a reason why you couldn't purify a memory to use in the belts.
I don't know what Shroud did to
Hmm.
purify memories, or if like she was the only person to know how.
Again, like my thought would be it's in the Gaia library that Philip has access to. He should be able to at least, if it's not directly in there, put it together himself.
I'm going to say hypothetically it's possible, but will it ever be done? I would say no.
I would feel like it'd be too useful a thing to not at least attempt. Like more tools in your belt to deal with shit does not seem like a bad idea to me.
Right?
Now,
Right.
if it's a situation of like, this is going to take time and we just don't have the time to do through this shit because we've also got other cases to handle, that
Time,
is understandable.
time and resources.
Yeah, resources could also be an issue. Like both of those things could totally make me understand this is why we can't do it. We don't have the time, we don't have the resources, but it is doable and we do know how to do it if we absolutely should have to.
So,
So,
yes.
sorry,
Sorry.
I was gonna say, so my final thought before we kind of like cut to the last bit of this,
Hmm.
uh, getting back to what I originally had said was like my idea for how to get out of this is using the old-fashioned Joe Star patented technique of running away.
So you'll say they'll escape rather than reactor.
I feel like their main goal here is to find and rescue Tokime, and Reactor is not their primary goal, so there's no reason for them to fight him at this point. It's that and find the old man, which this guy has no information
Hmm.
on. So for them to sit here and try to fight him doesn't seem like there's a point.
So do you think they'll fight him to the point of a distraction and then use that to escape?
I mean, if nothing else, one of them will act as the decoy and the other will run off to try to find, either the old man or Tokime.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then, I would assume then my first thought would be it's going to be Trial or it's going to be Excel that does it.
Hmm.
And then once Shotaro's out of there, he's going to flip over to Trial and leave because a reactor there is not going to be able to keep up, I would
Yeah,
assume.
yeah. Since reactor doesn't seem to be fast.
He's fast, but I don't think he's getting close to the speed of sound the way Trial does.
Or Scream was.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, that'll be fun if Scream just randomly shows up.
Ooh, because
Just to
Brachio
just to
is there.
really just to really mess with things.
Ooh. Ooh. Wait, no, 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 no. As Excel is leaving, he'll be separated from Double and he'll meet Scream. And it's like, ooh, my boyfriend's back.
That's gonna be real hard for him, especially if he's stuck in alleyways. He's not gonna have a lot of movement area to get away from it.
Ooh.
That's gonna be a real tough fight without any like space to fight in.
Ooh. That might be really interesting if that happens next week.
His best bet would be to somehow jump high above her, and that's not. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Um. So yeah, the last little bit is Tokime waking up to see Brachio, who dehensions into a small child that we see before at like the intro sequence, and then we have the after credit
I
sequence.
think he said something like, welcome back, Tokime.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he says. Again, I was expecting him to say like Nason or something like that,
Yeah.
but apparently they must not have any kind of like affectionate level of connection from that way of talking.
Yeah.
Although, granted, he is using her first name and not like a different name.
Right.
There's no honorifics in there either.
So it's about Dopon starting a band, all leading towards a pun of the only one that can lead this bondo is me.
I hate it. Also, his reasonings are dumb. Reactor is too hot. I mean, I guess maybe, but I mean, when we're seeing him fight, he's not lighting things on fire. He
And
might be melting the stage.
yeah,
Brachio being too big also doesn't work. Scream, yes. Scream is absolutely correct. She will kill people. Their ears will be bleeding everywhere. That is the one that is correct. The other two I take issue with.
do you think we'll see Scream's human form in the next episode?
I don't know if it'll be next episode or if it'll be final episode. It's gonna be before the end of this season, though, for sure.
Okay,
We've seen
okay.
everyone else. There's no reason why she won't be shown, especially since she's in the title intro.
Yes. So, come back next week to see how this case continues.
Can I leave now?
Uh,
Oh, it's dark. It's dark down here.
no, you'll have to stay put because we're also starting reviews of Boku no Hero Academia Season 6.
But you don't need to tie me down here for those.
Um,
Those I'll willingly come to.
catch everybody next week.
I want to leave.